Hi and welcome back to another episode on the Mini Cooper we've got. Right, so in the last episode you saw me sort of show you the worst case scenario, the worst parts of the car, and I said I'd go back and we'd strip the interior out and then basically we've got to get cutting to see what's what. Angle grinder is out, safety equipment is out, it's just a case of getting the seal off now. Now you have seen it, there's not a lot holding it on, so like I did with the Clubman, I'm going to cut all the way along and then we'll trim it back after, and it's more to see what panels we need to order, it's more to see what we've got to work with, what we can save, what we can't save. So off camera, like I mentioned, the interior is now out and I have tapped the floor down. If you remember in the previous episode, the floor's bowed right up, someone's jacked it up there, it's like that on the other side as well. It doesn't take a lot to normally knock them back, and obviously with this car, if it was going to knock back and fall through, it was going to be a floor pan. It hasn't done that. It's actually fallen back quite nice and snug, and basically tapped around the edges of it and then hit the centre of the floor, and it's just gone straight back where it should go. So there is a little trick to doing that. It's a case of just seeing how bad your floor is really, but don't ever just cut a floor pan out because it's bent, because you can bend them back. It's metal at the end of the day. But obviously it depends on how solid your car is. So we want to get cracking with this. We need to get the panels ordered obviously to try and progress further forward. So the seal's coming off today and I'll now whip you inside and we'll have a look at how bad the inside of the car is regarding the floors and inner seals. So you can now see both sides of it. I was quite shocked at how bad the seatbelt anchors areas are. Obviously that's a structural issue, that's a safety issue, and James and Chris are obviously great friends of mine, and the fact that we've caught it now before it goes back on the road is obviously a really good thing, because safety's first. You've got to go with safety, and obviously this is a fast Mini as well, so you are probably going to be really putting it through its paces a lot more than you maybe would do with, I don't know, maybe our Clubman Estate. But either way, it's a car, regardless if it's a Mini, regardless if it's a modern car, it has to be safe. So the seatbelt anchor points have worried me a little bit. The way I got around that with the sidewalk was it's got basically a big spreader plate, and I took mine off my old inner sill on the sidewalk and I cleaned it, seam welded it, and tidied it up. On the other side it was completely gone, and I actually had to completely remake it. So I got a thicker piece of steel, welded a captive nut to it, but instead of tacking it to it, I've seam welded it. So you can go sort of improve it, I guess, as you like. But I'm hoping this isn't going to be that bad. The inner sill to the back of it doesn't look that bad at all, so I'm really hoping we're not even going to have that sort of issue, but we will know what's what once the seal's cut off. Right, so like I mentioned, on the inside I've actually tapped this floor right down. Now it's completely flat now, so you've got obviously the profile already going round. There's a slight lump there, but I think that's where the anchor point's basically swollen a little bit, so we might end up taking that off and rewelding it, but it's so much better than it was. Obviously we have lost some of this sound deadening, and it all just cracks off anyway. So what I'll probably do is I'll trim back this sound deadening so it's neat, obviously because we'll paint all this and stuff like that. This looks like it's all going to clean back. It really doesn't look bad at all. It's obviously where we wish all our Minis were, which is hoping it's just surface rust. There's been a repair there which I've noticed, and it's just covered in seam sealer. So while I've got to paint this area of the floor, once the repair work's done, I will clean all that back, make sure it's okay, seam seal it, because obviously that's another safety aspect. But it's one of them. It's a previous repair. You don't know who's done it, you don't know how well it's been done, but we might as well check it out while we've got everything stripped back. So the interior is completely out. I've just laid the carpet back in the back sections, but like I mentioned, there's actually a hole there right by your seatbelt anchor point. The floor is completely bent there. You can see that plastic sound deadener is actually completely bowed up, so you can sort of see the profile how much that's bent. It's not actually as bad as the drive side was, so I'm hoping it will go back. You can see that flitch panel there, that's actually cracked. Again, you can put a corner piece in there. We don't want to have to do much paint work to the outside of the car, so you've got to be careful with that. And there is some slight corrosion just there. But that being said, the passenger side, if it's going to just take a repair to the back, a slight repair to the front, we can save that inner sill. So I'm really happy with that. You can see it's original, the original bung's still in it. The driver's side is actually still original. The bung's missing out of that one, but back here, it's still there. So again, seatbelt anchor point's got corrosion all the way around it. There's a bit of rust on the bottom of the bin there, but we'll clean that back when we come to paint stage. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that's now knocked out. What I will do, and obviously I will double check, but I will just cut this out. It's rectangle shaped. You see it's jagged and gone, and we'll just weld that flat so no water can ever get back in. You can see how damp it is, and the main reason I wanted to get the carpet out was to dry it out, and you can see now it's starting to air out and it's starting to dry quite nicely. So that is hopefully going to be the issue of the floor sorted. The rest of it can be cleaned back. Go forward, this is what we need to address. When I did hit the floor and it sat back down, you can see how much bent it was, because it's now revealed that the inner sill was completely gone all the way along. So, because that is actually daylight. So what I will do is we'll probably take the whole inner sill out and start again. But like mentioned in the previous episode, let's get this off, have a real good look at it, and then we can try and start repairing it all. Like always, safety first. Gloves, goggles, ear defenders, and yes, there's no guard, but it's easier. what everybody experiences on their driveways across the world when owning a classic Mini. Ginger dust. Right, you'd have seen from the video, been cutting away all the seals off this end, the old anchors off that end. All of this is surface rust, none of this has gone through, it can all be treated. Little repair to do there by the seatbelt anchor. All of this is good, surface rust. This not so good, which I'm about to cut off all of this out of the way, and then what we knew about at the front, and I will cut that off as well. That's what's the same as at the back basically. So all in all, I thought it'd be a lot worse. So let's get this off out of the way, trim everything back, and let's see what we're working with. So I've had a lot of comments why I don't use these or completely get rid of them altogether. Let me just demonstrate why. A Mini that's not had any work done or is unknown entity to you, you could be jacking your car up on this. That is taken, that is the aperture in your sill you would jack your car up through. Now, I know it's not for everyone to get rid of these, and you can buy this panel and put it all back in. But for me, why would you recreate another rust track when, if you look after your Mini, you can jack up on subframes, you can jack up on proper points if you wanted to. My advice is to never use these. Unless you've restored the car and you want to go authentic and you can use it and you know this is all welded back on, and that's fair enough. That's your side of things. Like I've mentioned in my videos, I do what I feel is right, not what necessarily is right, or not what everyone else would like to do. But you would actually probably hurt yourself if you jacked a car up and it let go, because the jacking point looks like that. Right, welcome back after that brief moment of cutting and grinding, which has also injured me. There was blood, bit of metal stuck in my face. Should wear a full face mask really, guys. I wear basic goggles, always have done, but maybe that's a lesson there to get a full face mask. Nevertheless, let's crack on. Right, so where we're at the moment is there's all this. The seal's off. Like I mentioned, this is how I get a seal off. I cut along the top, fold it down. Normally they're so rotten they fall off, or you just got to work off the spot welds. There's not much holding them on, to be honest, especially when they come to the point where they need replacing or repairing. The seals normally come off pretty easily. Obviously the top of the doorstep, we might actually have to replace the doorstep at this rate. So I'm not going to go mad cleaning that back, because obviously I haven't got any panels yet, and also if we're replacing it, it's an absolute waste of cutting and grinding this to do that. So I'll get you down underneath it now, and we will actually have a proper look, because I'm actually quite happy, because I was expecting a lot more work than this. It is basically a carbon copy of a genuine Sill that was on the budget Clubman, and a genuine sort of 20 plus years of suffering in UK roads. So yeah, I'm quite pleased, because the Sill definitely made it look worse. Now all the jagged rubbish is off there, things like all these jacking points, and yeah, it's off. But I'll show you now, and I want to get some pictures anyway of the inner Sill, how it is now before it gets properly cut out, and then what I'll do is I'll cut out all the pieces that need replacing. We'll make sure the new panels cover it, and then we'll go from there. Right, so at the front of the car, this is the big hole that you could see from that the Sill was covering. It's all just surface rust up there. All this is solid. We're obviously going to cut out all of that, and probably get an inner Sill, use it as a repair section, inner Sill repair section for this as well. So your jacking point's all completely gone. The doorstep really isn't too good. It is flaking away. Unfortunately, it's just how it goes, really. I think the fact this is a John Cooper and it's got those plates across the doorstep, as pretty as they are, and obviously it's part of the John Cooper side of things, they have trapped the moisture and it's caused the doorstep to go. Yeah, so this and that, all of this is surface rust, and I'm really quite happy. There's no panels needed there. We can just put a seal on. So we'll get inside and we'll have a proper look at this anchor point. Worst case, I'll grind back these 2 stitch welds and we'll take this off, clean it back underneath and put it back on, but it's actually a lot better than I thought it was. I think the passenger side is going to be the issue regarding that. All of this surface rust, it's all solid, but I do think it needs an inner sill across the front there. So I think that's going to be the next point of call. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to square all this off, cut out all the rot, and then we can start treating all this surface rust and get some things in motion. Right, so like I mentioned, I've cut out those 2 drain holes because they were rotten in that corner, but the rest of it will clean back nicely. It's all solid, gone along with a screwdriver. So we'll tidy that up. There's no point cutting that out. Obviously everything will get treated with rust. I'll weld a nice rectangle piece into there, smooth all that back. And along here, I've obviously cut out the repair that I need to do, but this horrible sound deadening stuff was holding even more rust. So I think we might as well just go for a full inner sill, because you've got this massive hole. You've now got this, which is all rotten. I stopped because you've got the block section there, so it just needs unpicking from there. All of this is solid, so, but if you're getting a full inner sill, you could probably just put the whole thing in. That is obviously all dependent on what direction panels get ordered in and sort of what we go for in the end. But definitely, I think it needs an inner sill really. There's absolutely no point in having us apart and not doing that, I don't think. So I think that's it for this episode. Right, that's all from me. We've got quite far. At the end of the day, we now know how bad everything is. We know what we need to order. And I think, like I've just mentioned in that last sort of slide there, I think we might as well just put an inner sill in it. There's surface rust at the back, which I can clean back. The whole front of the inner sill is completely gone. I've now had to cut all that out. Peeling back the rest of the sound deadening, it took the rest of it. So sort of from front, middle, and then the back's okay. So, but the inner sill, if you bought a Magnum one or an M Machine one, would come with the whole sort of inner sill area. So really, this car is really worth putting the inner sill in. It's not a lot of money. I don't think they're very expensive. I don't think they're like £15. So we might as well just put a whole inner sill in it. Obviously the panel ordering's out of my hands. This will be for James and Chris to get involved with and see how far they really want to go with it. I'm happy to do all the work, so we'll save another Mini, and obviously being a John Cooper Mini, let's just get the bottom of it solid, and then it will live on, because once the bottom's solid, like I say, front and back's already been done. In case of sorting the doors after, I guess, at some point, maybe winter. And then, yeah. again, this is another restoration, obviously, or a light restoration. I hope you guys get something from it. My methods are my methods. I'm not telling you how to cut a seal off. I'm not trying to teach you to suck eggs if you've done this a million times. But really, for the purpose of this channel and the purpose of Chris and James, we really want to document this car and prove to you that, again, like the Budget Clubman, if the seals are left alone and they're not welded up, they're not over sealed or bodged up, you know, that they don't take the whole floor pan with it. So the 89 restoration was obviously a perfect example of the fact that it took the floor sort of 3 or 4 flutes in. It's not good. It's just not worth doing. So this is, again, it's worthwhile. I'm now going to sweep up the remainder of the Mini off my driveway and go in and have a cup of tea. So once again, guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please give this video a thumbs up. Ring the bell if you haven't already, and hit the subscribe button, because then you can see future notifications. This build, obviously, or I say build, the work on this car, hopefully it's going to take a few weeks. We get this side done, go around to the other side. The other side doesn't look quite as bad, although it could be hiding as many horrors when the seal's off. And obviously we're still going to be doing the Budget Clubman and the 89 when panels arrive. So this really is sort of a bit of an interim job, I guess. So helping out James and Chris, and getting another Mini on the road for the summer, because they should be used. No point having them if they're not used. So right, I'm going to go. I'm going to stop going on. So catch you next one, guys, when I'll probably clean back the areas, make up some repair panels, and maybe we'll have an inner seal on its way. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.